The beloved disciple is St. John. He was one of the 12 apostles. He is considered the youngest of the 12 apostles very often, and he's the one who did not die a martyr's death. But his life was a challenging one. John is someone who wrote one of the 4 Gospels, the tradition tells us, and he is depicted on a window in Holy Name Church as holding a chalice which has a snake coming out of it. There's a legend that once he was given a poisoned cup of wine, and he blessed it before drinking it, and out of it came the snake that was used to poison the wine. It is a legend. What grew up around that was blessing wine on the feast of John the Evangelist, which is 2 days after the feast of the birth of Christ. John the Evangelist is the one who is speaking so much about the love of Christ. And they sometimes say that when the wine is blessed on the feast of St. John, it was especially a German custom, a little bit of that wine is poured into all the other wine at home, and they call it the love of St. John. His gospel talks about love. He has the changing of water into wine by Christ at Cana, at the celebration of marital love. He tells us very clearly through symbols and signs that Jesus is our intimate friend, that life with Jesus will change us deep within, and from us will come, if we've met the Lord, streams of living water, for example, running from us as love that pours out back to God and out to others, but God is its source. John is the one who reminds us that at the Last Supper, Jesus washed the feet. So much did he love his disciples. And then he said, I'm giving you an example that you might do. Whereas in other Gospels, the stupendous acts of Jesus are called miracles. In John's Gospel, they're called signs. Signs in the sense that miracles, which is what they are not just things to be in awe about. Miracles are invitations, signs of the love of God, which invite us to follow Jesus Christ, who loves us so much. A lot of the language in John's Gospel is symbolic language. We hear Jesus speaking, and the way John words it and the way Jesus says it get us thinking about the fullness of love that expresses itself through these rich symbols. John's Gospel is different from the other 3. They are the synoptics. They look through a similar lens. His has a lot of different stories in it, and his has kind of a depth to it, a very mystical side to it, deep closeness to Christ. And it's a rather theoretical gospel. It gets us using our imagination around these symbols and signs that he talks about. Remember, at the end of Jesus' life, the tradition is John was at the foot of the cross with Mary. Jesus said to John, "Behold your mother." And to Mary he said, "Behold your son." And there's a closeness between John and all of us who are his brothers and sisters, and Mary, who is our mother in a spiritual sense. St. John, give us something of the depth of love you shared with Christ, and help us to see in the great feats of Christ invitations to follow faithfully. John's window in Holy Name's Lower Church is given in memory of the Kennedy family, William, Mary, Bob, Peggy, and Bill.